right, what's up guys? So we got some new seals today for this distributor, OBD2 b16 distributor, and it is leaking really bad through the seal inside of here. It goes inside the actual distributor, which really sucks because obviously we all know that distributors are like the Achilles heel now of B series. So when this was on the car, it was obviously up like this, and it was just dripping oil out the bottom down here. And the only way that it can get inside there is obviously from that seal. So we're gonna go ahead and take this thing completely apart and clean everything up, and then get this back together and get it over to the customer. All right, so we have the distributor all broken down. All the internal pieces are here. You can see there's a bunch of oil that's been spinning around and getting all over the pickups there. These are magnetic pickups, all of these, and you can tell there's a bunch of stuff on there. Another issue we found is this magnetic pickup right here is actually loose and wiggles back and forth. That should not be like that. That is going to give you some major disruption. So if you have something like this going on in your distributor, definitely needs to get fixed or replaced. This is the seal that we're talking about. The seal down there at the bottom. Obviously it's been leaking inside, and you can tell it was running out. He had cleaned it previously before he brought it to us, so some of it is cleaned out, but this was completely covered in oil, and you can still see how much is down there. So we're gonna go ahead and spray this out, get it all cleaned up, get that seal out of there, and go through this stuff and make sure none of this is messed up as well. All right, so we were able to get this piece fitted back on there properly. We took out the pin, expanded that pin a little bit, cleaned up the shaft, slid this piece back on there, and then put the pin in there. And with it being expanded a little bit, looks like it's gonna hold it nice and tight and doesn't wobble anymore. And then obviously get the proper pickup and connection there so it's not wobbling around, which is very crucial for that. So everything's going back together pretty good. Looks like it's going to be a lot better than it was. Obviously won't leak anymore. All the pickups are cleaned, and then this is tied up here too. All right, everything is back together inside. If you guys drive an old Honda, 92 or even 88 up, you should really familiarize yourself with the distributor. Also, a lot of these parts actually interchange aside from the actual plugs, but you can use different bodies with different main plugs if you just swap out the magnetic pickups here. Also, the coil pack and the igniter, which is called the ICM. If you're ever replacing an ICM, this is what it is right here. All of this really goes one way. Everything lines back up, everything fits how it comes off. It pretty much stays in that place. So if you take this apart, don't really worry about not being able to put it back together the way it is, because the wires will only reach so far. These wires only go on one connection. As you can see, they kind of just fall in line if you leave it together somewhat. But again, you can use a lot of different coils from different distributors, whether it's B series or single cam, as well as the igniters as well. It's not going to hurt functionality. It might hurt performance. I don't really know the difference between a B series and a single cam coil pack for performance wise, but I do know that they will fit and work if you just need to get a car running. So familiarize yourself with the distributor, be able to work on it and rebuild it or take it apart or whatever It's not really that complicated once you take it apart and look at it. You just have to worry about these little stupid screws because they are pretty easy to strip off. That's why I use a flathead and a Phillips head both. So I use the flathead to usually break them free, then the Phillips head to go ahead and remove them, and then vice versa, put the Phillips on to tighten it down, and then use the flathead to go ahead and do the final tighten pass. So this is almost done. I still need to put on this piece right here, and we did mark it so that way I can put it back on correctly, because you need to make sure and put that piece back on the right way or your timing will be 180 degrees off. So remember that if you rebuild one of these and you don't mark that and you put it back on here and your car doesn't start, or it starts to burp and backfire and sound all weird, it's probably because you're 180 degrees out and you put that on backwards. Because it can go on either way unless you mark it. So make sure and check that out, and we'll go ahead and finish putting this piece on. So I put there's a spacer washer back here that kind of takes up the free play a little bit so it doesn't wobble as much, which I would probably put another one on here, but this is how it came, so this is how it's going back on. Like I said, it was in working condition. Line the lines back up how you marked it, and then put that pin back through like so. And then this little ring clip just has like a split in it somewhere. I don't really know where it's at right now, but there is a split in there. Yeah, right there. And then just loop that back around, and then to take it off, obviously just pop this off, take out the pin, and you're golden. So you can replace these if you do break them. You can replace these with other distributors, because I do see people that break these ears off here because they put it in backwards or the wrong way, because this only does fit in a cam one way. You can see it's offset more on this side than it is on this side, and that's why it only fits in one way on that cam. So don't break those off or you will be replacing this.